In a major revelation, Democratic Senator Dick Durbin has sent a letter to the FBI revealing that FBI agents were told to flag mentions of Donald Trump in the Epstein records that they were collecting. The letter says, quote, "According to information my office received, you then pressured the FBI to put approximately 1,000 personnel in its Information Management Division, including the Record Information Dissemination Section, which handles all requests submitted by the public under the Freedom of Information Act and Privacy Act, on 24-hour shifts to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records in order to produce more documents than could be released on an arbitrarily short deadline. This effort, which reportedly took place from March 14th through the end of March, was haphazardly supplemented by hundreds of FBI New York field office personnel, many of whom lacked the expertise to identify statutorily protected information regarding child victims and child witnesses or properly handle FOIA requests. My office was told these personnel were instructed to flag any records in which President Trump was mentioned. Notably, in 2002, Mr. Trump said of Mr. Epstein, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." Just yesterday, it was reported that the department previously reviewed a leather-bound album comprised of dozens of letters from Mr. Epstein's friends in celebration of his 50th birthday in 2003. The letters were collected by Mr. Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, and included one from President Trump that allegedly contains several lines of typewritten text framed by the outline of a naked woman, which appears to be hand-drawn with heavy marker, and the future president's signature is a squiggly Donald below her waist. Hey, can anybody watching right now let me know what you think it means when you task 1,000 people with looking out for just one guy's name in a file that concerns the activities of a known pedophile? Does that strike you as something that a person who is completely and totally innocent might do? Take all the time you need with that one. What's especially ironic here is that Trump has spent the last few days claiming that the files are the result of Democratic interference.
Yeah. Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that?
No, it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. I lost a lot of faith in certain people. Yeah, I lost because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
All my supporters want to talk about is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. It's unbelievable. It's a disgrace, and I remember every one of these guys. Yeah. They're my supporters, and they love it, and they love it, and it's all induced by the Democrats. The Democrats are the ones that are getting them to say this stuff. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Sir, will you get waiting in special counsel to investigate the Jeffrey Epstein investigation?
I have nothing to do with it.
And yet now we find out that in fact there was only one person who was interfering here, and it wasn't the Democrats. If what Dick Durbin says is true, and Dick Durbin isn't exactly Marjorie Taylor Greene when it comes to seeking attention or throwing out unsubstantiated or outlandish claims, then it means that in fact we've got proof that Trump meddled in the investigation to protect himself or any damaging information about himself from getting released. When we say that every accusation is a confession, this is what we mean, which should perhaps give you all reason to doubt whatever it is Trump and Bondi offer you up next, since it's already clear that they are operating to protect not the victims, but rather a potential participant in the crimes that Epstein committed. So when Trump comes out and says, based on the ridiculous amount of publicity given to Jeffrey Epstein, I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony subject to court approval. This scam perpetuated by the Democrats should end right now. And Pam Bondi chimes in and replies, President Trump, we are ready to move to court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts. Perhaps we should offer a little bit of skepticism, because they are going to do things like this to intentionally confuse people and send them in the wrong direction, a point that Glenn Kirshner brought up here.
You know, we may be getting exactly zero information because the court would have to order the release of grand jury transcripts. This feels more like a Hollywood production, maybe another episode of The Apprentice, right? This is a reality show. It's not, in fact, reality. And here's why, Brian. First of all, we have to start with the rules that govern grand jury transcripts and all grand jury materials. It's Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E. Here's what it stands for. Grand jury information. That means witness testimony, records that are produced pursuant to grand jury subpoenas, telephone records, photographs, videotapes, you name it. It is all protected by grand jury secrecy, and here's what everybody needs to know. The rules only provide that a court, a judge, may order the release of grand jury materials for only very specific and limited reasons.
And of course, Trump and Bondi know that, but that's the point. They need to manipulate the base into thinking that they're getting transparency when in fact they are getting obfuscation. It has become increasingly clear that the only goal of this administration is to prevent the release of these files, which is why Donald Trump has leaned on Republicans in Congress and the Senate to block the release of the files not once, not twice, not 3 or 4, but 5 separate times in just the last week. Twice in the Rules Committee, twice on the House floor, and once on the Senate floor. If Trump truly wanted transparency, he would release the files just like he promised. But he doesn't. And so instead, his minions block the release of the files, and instead they offer up a different concession that isn't even a concession at all, but rather just a sleight of hand. It is bad faith from beginning to end. So look, my question for Trump supporters is this, and I ask this in 100% good faith. What's your goal here? Is it tribalism and protecting the leader of the Republican Party at all costs? Or is it full transparency about what happened with Epstein and accountability for everybody involved? Because you can want one or the other, but apparently not both. Because if that was a possibility, Trump would have already released the files. The fact that he won't really does tell you everything you need to know. Trump came into office with a mandate to expose the people who commit crimes with impunity. Not only is he failing to do that, he is entrenching the very system he vowed to dismantle. The president sold his supporters a bill of goods, and he's trying to convince you not to believe your lying eyes. And unless we all speak out, nothing is going to change. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.